Welcome back to Osprey TV. We are joined today by Kane Artie, an incredible landscaper, all-round good bloke, and not too bad at flying a drone as well. Kane, thank you very much for joining us at Osprey TV.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. What have you been up to?
I've just gotten back from a trip up north. We're not there for a wedding actually, so we had some friends they're from Italy initially, but they're living over in the eastern states. And they'd travelled around Australia when he was a little bit younger. Yeah. And decided they want to get married at Red Bluff. So,
oh, wow.
And it's stunning spot.
Yeah, good spot to get married, yeah.
Yeah, not the easiest spot to get to.
How many people come to their wedding? It's pretty near to four-wheel drive. Was that a prerequisite?
Yeah, so they had a lot of people come over from Italy, like all the family. Yeah. It was about 60 people all up, I think. So they all went and hired wicked campers and travelled up.
That's awesome.
It was great.
One of those things about a destination wedding like that is good is everyone's pumped for it. Like they're on a holiday pretty much. So it's not just trying to cram like all your hellos into 12 hours of a day. It's like over a few days.
Yeah. Yeah, and they had a ball. Like because I got the two boys, we didn't quite travel with them a lot. But we got to meet up with them a bit. But then, the wedding at Red Bluff was just...
Was it literally out on the bluff?
On the beach, yeah. We just had it down on the beach with the bluff in the back.
Amazing.
And, what a spot.
Yeah, and good weather?
Yeah, we had actually really good weather the whole time. So... Yeah. Not great for me for taking photos because it was just clear skies the whole time, but it was great for the wedding and just great to travel and be at the beach. So.
Yeah. So were you the wedding photographer?
I was one of them, yeah. We had about 3. So,
oh, sweet.
So we got some really good shots. Yeah. My wife was actually the celebrant. So,
oh, cool.
It was
just really the whole package.
Yeah.
The boys could have been the flower children.
Yeah, that's right. So it was, it was really neat. So what a spot to just be and watch. And the particular time we were there, it was the moon was setting just as the sun would rise. So you'd watch from where we were camping, we could watch the moon set just behind the bluff, and as the sun was rising, you could just see the bluff slowly just light up.
That's amazing.
Just really good, really good to watch.
Yeah, good time of year to be up there as well. I did follow along on your stories for that trip, and it looked like there was some good surf there.
Yeah, the surf was cranking pretty good in the mornings. Yeah. And one of the guy that got married, the groom, he was he's really into his surfing. So
yeah. So was that like kind of let's get married at the bluff because I think the surf's going to be good.
Yeah, that's right. That's pretty much it. So. So I thought I'd go out and get them, capture them one morning. But the swell was really
pumping.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Winds were right. So, just parked up there and got some shots.
Mate, we're going to jump in. We just want to know, the format's just about learning about different creatives in WA, but it's not limited to WA. We're going to expand interstate and international as well. The idea is to try and get to know the people behind the camera. Like you're very prominent on social media. The quality of the stuff that you put out is exceptional. It's well received. You've got a lot of fans, but a lot of people might not know who you are or even what you look like. So that's what we want to try and achieve, is just to find out a bit about you and a bit about your process and your photography and your drone work and tips and techniques and sort of what inspires you as well. So tell us a bit about your background and what you do for work. And are you working full-time as a photographer or you work in a different industry?
No, actually I do roller shutters and outdoor blinds as my main job. Yep. Now slowly getting into some time-lapse stuff with another company and just helping them install and also do some roving time-lapse and drone footage. And then, just landscape stuff when I can fit it in, really. So,
busy schedule. And you're married and you've got a couple of kids, so it is hard. You're probably time poor.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's pretty much why I only really shoot sunrises at the moment, and... if it's going to be really good, I'll duck out for a sunset and go for it. But mainly just sunrise for me. Yeah.
And where did the passion for photography start for you? Where did it all kick off?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I just sort of always liked just the landscape stuff, and I had a friend from school that was into it, and I'd followed her a little bit on Facebook, and she actually helped me sort of get my first lens and just a few tips and stuff. And we'd just get out there and give it a go, and she'd always give me some feedback. And it wasn't, I think, until I had my first son that I really sort of got into it. I think
he was a turning point, or just around that time? Just
around that time. I think it was just mainly because I was up early in the mornings all the time.
Seeing the nice light.
Yeah, and...
it's amazing how many sunrises you see when you have kids, isn't it?
Yeah. So, because I was up in the morning anyway, I thought I'll just go out and start shooting, and it just took off from there.
Yeah. In your opinion, do you prefer sunrise to sunset in terms of the time of day and the light? Or it changes all the time for you?
I really like the sunrises just because it's just so quiet. There's not many people around. It's just nice to sort
peaceful,
of watch everything sort of come to life. So, and I do like the light from the sunrise. So, having said that, for being in WA, sunsets are probably sort of the way to go. But
I was talking about it earlier with Mitch. I think it was that the beauty I find and the beauty with the sunrise is you get that beautiful morning, that early light, and then it goes into, like, you get more light after it. Whereas the sunset, once it's out, that's it. Pack up, go home.
That's it.
But I think, as we know, you can get some stunning shots from both ends of the spectrum there. In terms of your gear, what's in your gear bag? What have you been using, and what do you predominantly use for your photography?
So I'm still shooting on. I got pretty old gear, really. I've got a Canon 5D Mark II.
Yep.
And a 17-40 f4 Canon lens.
Yep.
So that's pretty much my go-to for all my landscape stuff. And then I use NISI filters on there to just help balance up the image before I take it in camera. Do you use filters every single time you shoot landscape? Is there any situations where you wouldn't be using filters? No, pretty much all the time. I've got some sort of filter on there. So
they're just neutral density filters mainly, or
just grad filters.
Yeah, grad filters.
Just to darken the sky off a little bit.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the time a polarizer as well.
Okay. Cool. So both at the same time?
Yeah, both at the same time. Yep. And then for shooting the long exposure ones, I'll have a 6-stop or something in there as well.
Does it matter what order you put those plates in?
You know of? I generally put the 6-stop first because it's got just the foam around it to stop light leaking in behind it. Mm-hmm. So that will generally go first, and then you put your grad filter on.
Yep. Awesome. And in terms of what you look for when you're scouting places, how do you go about your location hunting?
So when I first started, I'd just go by, I'd actually have a look where I was working, and just sort of then look on Google Maps and try and just find some good spots from there.
Near where you had to install roll shutters.
Yeah, that's right. So then I'd go and
awesome.
I'd go and pick up the stuff real early in the morning and then head out there. But
geez, where's my tradie? He hasn't rocked up yet. He's just got a banging sunrise.
That's right. So it was always a bit sort of rushed, and in the summer it's all right because
you've got plenty of time.
Yeah, it's up so early.
Yeah.
That's how I used to sort of start, and then just use Google Maps, and now I use photo pills.
Yeah, everyone that's been through said they're using that same. That's an app, right?
Yeah, that's an app, and I mainly use that to just see where the sun's going to be, what direction it's coming from, and to just plan the shots like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. And with that sort of planning, do you think it just makes your photography more efficient using those sort of tools to help you?
Yeah, they definitely help. Actually seeing it in person is probably better, but I just can't always get out and explore. So I'll try and look as much on Google Maps as I can, and then I've even used Google Earth as well to try and see the elevations if there's hills around.
Yeah. To
try and just find something really sort of interesting to see.
Yeah, that's cool. And something that, what you've told us there, I think is something interesting for other photographers, and that is you you just have to make it work in terms of making time to do photos. It's very easy to say I haven't got any time, but like you're under the palm and you're still managing to sneak out there and get a few cheeky ones. So it's good to show that sort of motivation, I think, and to show that, you know, no matter what your sort of situation is, there is time for photography. If you really want it, you can go and get it.
Yeah, that's right. And I think landscape particular, because it's sort of sunrise and sunset is your main times that you'll shoot. Yeah. If you can get up early before work or
school or
something like that, you can still get out there, get a shot. Yeah. And then just sort it out later on.
Yeah, that's right. Has there occasions when you've been out shooting and you haven't really come home with anything that you thought was any good?
There's been plenty of those. It's, you know, especially you get there late, and even if you've really, you know, cranking sunset, and it sort of gets here sometimes. You're just so excited. You're rushing around trying to get a heap of shots, and especially now that I've got the drone, I try to do two things at once. You know, trying to fly the drone and get a photo. Yeah.
And you do both of them poorly.
Yeah, and I'm never really, really happy with, you know, what comes out. You know, sometimes it's just you just got to either do the drone or the photo. So
yeah, and almost leave one at home.
Yeah,
not even take
otherwise
it.
You're tempted, and because you just want to capture everything because it's so good. And there's plenty of times when you think the sky's going to go off, and you get all set up, and it just, you know,
doesn't happen.
Just nothing happens. So
yeah, have you ever been all ready to go and left something at home?
I've left the SD card at home.
I've done that. Killer, isn't it?
It's all right with the drone now because it's got, you know,
a little bit of inbuilt memory.
Yeah, inbuilt memory in there. But I've done.
You can almost get away with anything, but leaving the SD card or batteries or something like that. Yeah. You can make a tripod. You can, you know, there's a few ways you can hack it, but the SD card's a killer.
I think a lot of people have done the old SD trick.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's always sitting in the car.
Yeah. In the bag, a couple of spares.
Yeah. You know, when I wanted to take some time lapses, I've left the little remote that, you know, triggers it. I've left that behind, and so
it's a killer, isn't it? Yeah. Speaking of time lapses, it's something that you're quite interested in, and you said you're dipping into sort of commercial work and stuff like that. Can you tell us about your time lapses and technique and what it is about time lapse that is attractive to you?
Yeah, it's just something that I really like, because you get a really good sunrise, and you've got one shot of it and it looks really, really good, but just watching it all unfold, I think, and just seeing how it all happens, and then it fades away, it just adds that little bit more. Yeah.
Because you start to notice when you've got the time lapse, you've got obviously a lot longer to witness it, and you start to see different little things within the picture, don't you? Moving and when the light hits it and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. So, and I mean, a lot of people have also probably taken photos. Yeah, the light's gone, pack up and go. And then the second wave comes of light. So
that's right, you've missed something.
You've missed it. So yeah, with the time lapse, you just let it run for an hour or so, and you capture everything.
How do you control your exposure movement as it gets darker or brighter?
So that can be pretty tricky at times.
With that, so you avoid that flickering, right, in the post-production?
Yeah. There's a few different ways you can do it, but I sort of dial down the shutter speed as I go, and then raise if it's at night, if it's sunset, I'll raise the ISO as I go, as it gets darker.
Okay, so you're just constantly monitoring it and making fine adjustments as you go, right? Yeah.
Yep. So then really to stop the flicker, you have to get it in post and put something in there. And I use a program called LR Time Lapse. Just magic that program. It kind of does
a hack
everything.
Program, isn't it? Yeah. Like I can't believe they haven't brought out a legit time lapse program.
And it kind of does everything for you, but you still can't. You still have to shoot it, right. Yeah. And then edit it within there. But yeah, brilliant program.
Yeah, and with time lapse, what do you think is important in terms of composition?
You definitely want to have something where obviously there's a lot of movement happening, cars moving, nice clouds. Yeah.
And then something static as well, right?
Yeah, so I still try and treat it as a landscape photo, but then also want to have that movement. So you still have nice foreground, nice background, and then just the movement happening around it. And, I would like to have sliders and all that sort of stuff. And
the automated ones.
Yeah, just get those really cool shots.
Yeah,
it's just not something I can afford at the moment, but you can still get out there and do different things. And
of course,
yeah.
Well, that's really interesting, mate. We're going to jump into the first photo that you brought in for us. This is an absolute banger. Look at the conditions.
Yeah, this was a bit of a funny one. So we had my in-laws over for dinner this particular night,
and you left.
Yeah, I did.
Expired.
So the thing was, I could see it all sort of slowly unfolding, and I knew we had to go get drinks from the bottle-o. So I'm watching it, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll go get the drinks. So ducked out, grabbed the camera, threw it in the car, and just quickly found, because I only left just before the sun was setting. So I quickly just ducked down, threw the camera down wherever I could, and this is probably about 5 minutes from home.
Oh, sweet.
And I just couldn't. The sky just blew up.
Mate, have a look at it.
It was just insane. This was probably the best spot that I could actually get. It wasn't the ideal composition, but you still got your leading lines and stuff. So
it's absolutely, the reflection is insane. The colors are incredible, and it's so glassy. So with this image, did you only take like 4 or 5 shots and then pack up, or did you just spend a bit of time there?
I probably spent maybe 20 minutes max down there.
Did you get the birds before or after?
I just went here straight away to find somewhere before the sunset, and then
worried about picking up the birds
after. And I didn't tell anyone that I was going to take the photos. I just left and took the camera just in case. Yeah. And I could, as I was driving, I was like, "Yep, it's going to go off."
It's on.
So just quickly threw the Google Maps up, just trying to find something, and ducked down here. I hadn't been there before, so it was sort of a bit unseen.
Yeah. Is it South Perth? Is it?
No, it's Rivervale.
Oh, Rivervale. Right.
Just near the Belmont area.
Oh yeah, cool.
Near Ascot.
It's perfect, mate. Like, for something that's unfolded really quickly, it's the end result is incredible. And in terms of your post-production with this, did you have to do much at all?
So it felt like I had to sort of dial down the colour extra, because like the red was just insane. But yeah, I did have to sort of bring out the shadows a fair bit, because it was quite dark there. And I did end up taking... There was a few things on the jetty that sort of didn't look very good. So just cleaned them up, just got rid of them. But other than that, there wasn't a whole heap to do. And I had people behind me trying to get on the jetty, but I had the tripod set up right over the top of it.
Them out.
So
was that? Sorry to interrupt. Was that a landscape shot, and you cropped it?
Yeah, that's right.
Like that,
so, this was actually an Instagram crop. I couldn't find the other image.
Couldn't find the wide one. I'm sure it just goes on.
It was amazing. The reflections were just
When you're out shooting these sort of landscape shots, do you enjoy the time that you go by yourself, and that it's a bit of a solo thing instead of, I know personally sometimes it's tricky shooting with your family or even other crew. Yeah, I do enjoy sort of going on my own. It's good. I think it's good to go with people, and then once you get to your spot, you sort of break up and go find your own spot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool, especially sunrise, just sitting there. Once you set up, sort of just watching it, clicking the button every now and then, and it is a really peaceful, sort of enjoyable thing to do by yourself. I find exactly the same thing. I love that. Bit of adventure if you're hiking to a certain spot, or just being there by yourself. And we're so life's so busy, and you're interacting with people all the time. To find that 2 hours or an hour of stillness by yourself is quite good. Yeah, I find it really nice. So that's kind of why I really prefer the sunrise, because you just sit there, watch everything, sort of slowly wake up, and it's just nice. Awesome. Around Perth, it's difficult to find new places to shoot that haven't already been shot.
Yeah.
And then even when you do find something new, occasionally, or other people are shooting the same composition. What do you try to do to be original?
Just try to find different angles, really. So get low or just because a lot of the time you get to a jetty like this and you sort of just shoot down the jetty like that.
Yeah.
But then just trying to find just a different angle on there, just find a different foreground.
Yeah. So it's important to remember that even though people might see lots of photos from a similar location, there's always a variation that you can put on it, and you can put your own artistic spin on it as well. So don't be shy to go and shoot popular locations, I guess.
Yeah, that's it. And I think Instagram sort of really, everyone sees a shot and they're like, I want that shot. So you go out and you want to get that exact shot. But then if it's been shot all the time, it's not special. You've got it, and you might get really good feedback on there. But it's always good to really throw your own sort of idea on the same location.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to start doing soon, actually, is just going back to the same spots and just finding something, a different angle, just get a different perspective on it.
It's almost a hindrance in a way to see it taken, like a certain location taken, on Instagram a lot, because you lose that ability to look at it with fresh eyes because you're already seeing the compositions that you've seen so many times. So it might be hard to sort of deviate from that, but that's really the key, isn't it? Trying to sort of forget what you've already seen and try and look at it. Yeah,
go to sort of the same location, but just try and put your own spin on it, really.
Yeah.
Just try and be as original as you can.
Yeah.
And you'll enjoy it more then as well. So I
think so. Yeah.
That was, you didn't just copy someone, you've sort of come up with it yourself.
Yeah, really good. All right, mate, we'll flick to the next image we've got here. Wow, that looks like a bit of tranquility there, mate.
Yeah,
it's like some sort of relaxation advertisement there. Tell us about this shot.
So this is in Emma Gorge,
which is located where?
In Kununurra. So I was I went up to Kununurra for some of the time lapse work that I've been doing. And for this particular shot, I was flying out this day, and because I was working about an hour and a half out of Kununurra, so I was driving to and from the site. It just didn't really have any time to go anywhere. And I didn't really know anything about Kununurra before I actually went here for work.
Yeah.
And I mean, what a stunning place. Like, it just blew my mind when I went there, and I just said, look, I've got to go and see something while I'm here, because
not just work.
Yeah. So, I got there, and I think it's about a half an hour, 40-minute walk in.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a hike, and, you're climbing over rocks and under trees and over branches and all sorts of things. And then you get in there, and it's just one of those moments you just stand still and you just look around. And there was about 20 people or 30 people in there. Yeah, and you've got about 20, 30 people in there, and it was just, everyone was just, really quiet, whispering and
just being respectful to the space. Yeah, it was just
one of those places that you just didn't say anything. You just go in there and you just sort of just took it all in.
That's nice. That's good that it was like that. Yeah,
The thing is, I only had about 10 minutes there, and I had to go and quickly hike back so I could catch the plane back home. But so and this is when was it? It's definitely not wet season because it's the waterfall's sort of not really running. But I really, really want to go back and get it when there's...
And have longer than 10 minutes
and
there.
have longer than 10 minutes.
So the key to success, people, is to put yourself under extreme time pressure to get these sort of shots. That's Kane's technique.
So, it's just one of those places that was just amazing to go. And you really have to go, like, this photo doesn't even do it justice. You kind of have to go there to actually just
really witness it.
Yeah,
it's absolutely beautiful. So this is Emma Gorge. Is there a lot of gorges in that area?
Yeah, there's a heap. And I don't even know the names of them because I didn't even get a chance to go and see anything.
Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the greatest blessings for us here in WA is the amount of variation we have in our coastline. There's really, it can be from a coral coast to gorges to massive expanses of sand dunes to forest down in Borenup. We really do have was spoilt for choice there, really, in terms of landscape.
Yeah, and that's, just WA itself is just absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
From the south to the north, there's always something to see. Yeah.
I was chatting to when I was chatting to Lucas earlier, I was asking him about how much do you think that Instagram and the content that you guys are putting out, how much that influences the positive profile of Western Australia, because you guys are really showing it in its best light. It's effectively tourism advertising. So, do you enjoy being a part of that sort of process and encouraging people to come and see what you see?
Yeah, definitely. I think, it's especially with social media now, you can just really, if I go to look for somewhere, if I'm traveling, I'll bring it up on Instagram and start having a look for photos. And
it's really like the new Lonely Planet guide, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So I do think it's really helping to bring people, to WA. Mm-hmm. And I think people are starting to notice that. So, everyone's starting to travel and getting out there a little bit. And you just see more, like half of these, I never really knew about Kununurra until I went there. And then there's a guy, Ben Brody,
his stuff's amazing.
That's up there. And I didn't know him when I was up there, but I'll definitely catch up with him now once I go back. Yeah.
He's showcasing it really well.
Now he's really... And it's just back on the map now, so it's
there's
amazing.
Some real power to it, and the thing is, it's a worldwide audience. You know what I mean? So if you can reach anywhere in the world with these images, so it is super powerful. By the same token, people have to be conscious of not flocking to a place and wrecking it just to get that selfie or that Instagram shot. So there's that sort of side to it as well. Which
that's also a hard one. So that's why you'll see people not really
posting locations and stuff. I think that's a pretty good measure. Yeah. If it's not blatantly obvious where it is, then I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, because it can. You get too many people there, and it will kind of diminish the spot a little bit. People aren't conscious about rubbish and
just erosion and walking through off the beaten tracks and things like that. So agreed. Mate, how important is it for you to get off the beaten track in terms of trying to find, not just going for locations, but do you enjoy that sort of exploring and camping and sort of the adventure of finding new places to film?
Yeah, I love camping, and now that I've got the two boys, I really want to go out with them, take them out and just to see Australia really. Yeah. But just trying to get to different spots, just trying to find different locations that people haven't really seen yet. Mm-hmm. And it's good for me. Like I want to take photos that aren't just all scattered everywhere that you've seen before. I just want to take so people stop and look at it and go, oh wow, where's that? And want to travel as well and go see things.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about before. And just looking for a different way to showcase something that hasn't been done before, and exploring and finding your own little patches is definitely a part of that.
Yeah, but it's a little bit harder now to go and get off the beaten track with the young ones.
It is. You can't just grab
screaming at you.
Keys and backpack, and you've got to worry about milk and where's my teddy and all that sort of stuff. I feel your pain for that one, brother.
That's another joy though. Like they get to see this sort of stuff as well. So
and as they get bigger, it's really going to be something that you guys will bond over, and it's really good. So good news. In terms of your aerial work with drones, how much did when did you first get a drone, and how much has it changed the way that you shoot, or what has it brought to your photography?
So I was actually given a Phantom 2 Vision Plus. So I think it was one of the first ones that had its own camera on the bottom of it. That was from my brother-in-law, and he didn't use it anymore, and he said, look, I'll give it to you. You can, fly it around, learn. And so he sent it over from the eastern states, and I fell in love straight away with it. And but one morning at Cottesloe, I flew it up about just 50 metres above me and let it sit there, and it just lost signal for some reason. So, and it just took off and went diving into the sea. So that was a bit hard to watch. And I felt lost without it again. So I ended up getting the Mavic 2 Pro. And it just gives such a different perspective on it's just the same location. Like you could, everything I've shot with the DSLR, you go back there with a drone and it's just different.
Yeah. I think that's one of the great things is it just refreshes locations. It refreshes your artistic eye for a location, perspectives, compositions. It's just a whole new ball game, isn't it?
Yeah, and even from our just recent trip just to Kalbarri, the Pink Lakes there, to really see it properly, I think you need to either go on a plane or fly a drone to actually really see the colours pop.
Yeah, that's interesting. And the Mavic 2 is a great little unit. Like you're really happy with that, and it's compact and efficient.
Yeah, it's a bit of a beast of a drone. Image quality is just amazing, and the video it puts out's pretty great as well. Yeah. So, and it folds up to nothing. You can just chuck it in your camera bag, really.
I think that's what's so good about it, especially for landscape photographers that like to just be able to hike through stuff and be compact and minimal. I think it's just the perfect tool. Yeah,
I mean, especially for people that are going to travel around and go hiking and stuff, you can, just chuck it in, sacrifice a lens and chuck the drone in.
Yeah, it's worth it every time.
Yeah,
as long as you remember the SD card.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to flick to the last image you brought in for us. This is probably one of my favourite shots of yours that you've taken. It got a lot of love on social media because it's just so beautiful. The colours, the composition, it's just so much going on. It's just one of those ones that I think you should be really proud of because it's almost perfect. I love it. So tell us about this shot.
So I nearly didn't come out this morning. That morning, I only went out that morning because I had the two kids at this stage, and they were up screaming, and so I was like, well, I'm just going to go.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, so they were awake. I think they'd gone back to sleep, but I was awake, and I thought, no, I'm just going to go down to the local, which is South Perth, pretty much.
Yep.
And just driving down, I was like, far out. This looks like I hadn't checked the weather or checked the clouds or anything like that. Just went out, and then
it was on.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is going to go. And got down, and it was just so quiet. There was I think there was one elderly lady just sitting there.
Yeah.
Other than that, there was just absolutely no one. No photographers. I couldn't see a soul. And
was it midweek or was it a weekend or? Can't remember.
No, I think it was a weekend.
Yeah. So it's surprising that no one's kicking around.
Yeah, it was just, I couldn't believe it. And there was just no one around. It was just one of those moments you were just like, far out. This is just insane.
Yeah.
And the water was so, like you can see, like the reflection was just so still.
There's not a ripple in it. If you're looking at the sides of the buildings there, they're perfectly straight. There's no deviation in them. There's no water movement.
Yeah, it was...
like a lake.
Yeah, just one of those sort of perfect mornings in those wispy clouds. It was just stunning.
Yeah. So, when you took that photo and you saw it on the back of the camera, were you like little fist bump?
Yeah, you're like, this is looking good.
Yeah.
So,
you know it's good if it looks good on the back of the camera, right?
And and then that's sort of the moment you want someone to be there, so you can just sort of share it. And so you throw it on the Insta stories because you're like, I got to share it with someone.
Somebody's got to see it. Yeah, someone's got to see it. It was beautiful. It's really well received on social media. It was shared everywhere that around Perth because it kind of it represents Perth a lot, I think, because it's right on the river. You've got obviously you've got the city and stuff there, and you can see Kings Park up there to the left as well.
Yeah,
I just think it's a really good example of how beautiful the city can look.
Yeah, it was just it really put it on that morning, and I was just The thing is, you got to be there to actually capture it. So
yeah, that's right.
Just getting up in the morning and getting out, and that was just one of those ones. I wouldn't have gotten out to shoot. I wasn't planning to shoot.
Yeah. Sometimes it just works out, doesn't it?
It just worked, and
you've got, like you said, you've got to be out there, and you've got to be ready to go, and then it sometimes it just falls in your lap.
Yeah, and there's been plenty of times where I've been driving to work, or you sleep in, you're like, oh, I won't bother tomorrow, and then you open up your phone and you see what it was like, and you just kick yourself that you didn't go, but. Yeah. You can't capture everything. So,
no, and there's always going to be another sunrise.
That's it. So
need to remember that. But it's also good to get up and make the effort as well.
And it was just another one of those, reasons why I just like sunrises, because it was just so peaceful. There was just no one around. And, sunset, it's nice having people around and that, but it's just, there's always people moving around. You're not there on your own. And, it's just one old lady sitting there on a chair. And that was, I couldn't believe it. There was just no other people shooting. Like I was looking and just couldn't find anyone. So
that's crazy, it could have been an apocalypse and you wouldn't have even known. It's just you
right.
and the nana. That was it. She's your new best friend, and you got that sweet bloke. Mate, just for in terms of inspiration for you, who do you sort of where do you get your inspiration from in terms of other photographers, or is there particular things that you look at regularly that makes you aspire to other things, or you draw your inspiration from?
Yeah, well, sort of when I was first starting off, actually Hamish Stubbs was one of the guys that I'd followed, because he was up in Perth before, and he was always taking just, I'd take the same photo of the same spot, and then
doesn't quite look the same.
Yeah, it just didn't look the same, and I was just like, far out, this guy's just killing it. And so I sort of always followed along with him, and now we're good mates, and we catch up, and we're actually going to run a workshop together for with Dream, and and actually speaking of that, Dale was actually, I think probably for a lot of people, Dale from DK Photography was a huge inspiration for me, and probably to most of the
thousands
landscape
of people around the world.
So those two, and then and now seeing Ben Brody's stuff, and it's good to have something from
somewhere else,
just seeing something different, and it's kind of good looking at his feed, but then it's just like, oh man, I just want to get up here. So
now I'm just jealous.
So
that's good. Those guys are incredible photographers, and very worthy of following as well.
And it was just, and there's so many now, because on social media you can just you probably always do that, but you just follow someone that's sort of got where you want to get to, and you can sort of just take your own photos and edit them, and then you just keep trying to reach that spot. And I look back now on my feed, and I can see that how far I've come from when I first started. And it seems a long way for me. And it's just you just learn as you go, and
and how important is it to reach out to those guys that inspire you to? I know Hamish is, and we've talked about him before, being more than willing to coach guys and to help people, and they're running workshops and stuff like that, and that sort of sharing of information and technique. I think Instagram's brought a lot of that, which is a positive from it. I think
definitely reach out to the people that inspire you, and most of them will throw you some hints and tips, and just help you as much as they can. And Hamish is like that. Dale was definitely like that. I know Ben will be like that. So and I'm always happy to help people out as well. So you just have to ask, really. So
go about it the right way, and
and then if you're in the same area in Perth, you can catch up for a shoot. And you'll learn heaps. You just get to get out there and do it. So
and even the workshops that you guys are hosting, and that it's an investment, but what you get out of it, I think, is well and truly worth it.
That's right. And you get to go to the spots that you always want to shoot, and then be able to take that photo that you really really like.
So. With a professional looking over your shoulder, there's no better training than that real hands-on, literally in the moment training. And
especially those guys, they'll just tell you everything. They won't sort of hold back and try to just give you a little bit of info. They'll just tell you everything. That's just how it is. So
that's awesome. All right, mate. Well, thanks so much for coming in. As I said, Osprey and myself and Rob, we're massive fans of your work, and we really look forward to following along the journey and seeing what comes next for Kane Artie. We'll be putting your Instagram handle and all your information in the comments description below this. So if you do want to follow Kane, make sure you click on those links and go to his social profiles. If you enjoy what we've done here with Osprey TV, please subscribe, leave us some comments, and hit that notification button so that you're kept up to date with all our videos. Kane, thanks for coming in, buddy.
Beautiful. No, thanks for having me. It was great.
No worries. Cheers.